Hey everyone, Dana here. At some point in my YouTube journey, I realized now that I began to define my success on YouTube, at least in part, sometimes quite a big part, by my video views and subscriber count, which is in and of itself something that I'm not happy about. Judging my success on YouTube based on a metric like my subscriber count or my video views, when I think about it now, I feel really sad. Judging it based on that feels to me a little bit like judging an ice cream sundae based on the cone. Like, sure, the cone plays an important role holding up those delicious, refreshing balls of birthday cake flavored ice cream with whipped cream and chocolate sauce and sprinkles and a cherry. But without that ice cream there on top, it can hardly be called a sundae now, can it? The cone does not make the sundae a sundae. All the other stuff does. The thing is though, sure, I'm definitely not happy that I started tying whether I considered a video of mine to be successful or not to the number of views said video got. I'm definitely not happy about that. But for me, the bigger problem came because of the little thing that I grew up learning to define my worth as a human, at least in part, by my success. So my worth was propped up by my success, and at some point my success on YouTube came to be propped up, at least in part, by my video views and my subscriber count. Yeah, I think I think you would probably agree with me that that does not sound like a very healthy place for me to be. Especially not given that I was making videos on a platform where the whims of an algorithm could really have quite the effect on those numbers. No. If I could go back, I would definitely tell younger Donna I would advise her against putting something as precious as her self-worth in the hands of a social media algorithm, because it wasn't healthy for me no matter how many views a video of mine got. If a video of mine got 100,000 views, it wasn't healthy for me. If a video of mine got 1 million views, it wasn't healthy for me. And if a video got 10,000 views, it also wasn't healthy for me. It was just a lot harder for me to see just how unhealthy this outsourcing of my worth via my success to my views was for me when a video of mine got 100,000 views than when it got 10,000 views. Because when getting 100,000 views, I was also getting this rush, this exciting rush that felt so good, at least for a second. At least for a second. But after that, the unease and panic set in as I tried to figure out how I could do that again, how I could replicate those numbers, that success, because there was a lot on the line after all. Not just video views, not just my success, my self-worth. I had put my self-worth on the line. And at some point, actually, I even stopped, I would say, having such a big rush when videos got lots of views, more like maybe a little rush, maybe. And then the next feeling was actually relief as the dominant feeling. Relief, like, whew, thank goodness I did it. Because when a video didn't get quote unquote enough views, whatever that amount was for me at the time, because it did vary, I would feel like shit. I don't want to just say, like, I would feel like shit. I don't know if that's descriptive enough, but I would. I would feel like shit. So yeah, at some point, I think it stopped being so much about me chasing after these exciting good feelings, and more it was like I was trying to avoid this feeling of shit. Hold on, I have a list of feelings. Let me get my list of feelings. Okay, I've got my feelings here. Okay, I felt, let me get under the mic again. Oh, you know what? I just realized I think I felt shame. Ooh, I'm gonna have to think about that. I felt miserable, discouraged. So basically a lot of feelings. I think I could sum that up as I felt like shit. I wasn't creating videos in a way that was healthy for me for a while. But here I am back creating videos. How am I gonna do this in a way that is healthy for me? That's what I'm gonna talk about next. Okay, so when I think about why this happened, I think it's probably a combination of many different factors, and to name a few here that I think are relevant, I think there's me and just who I am as a person. There's the society I grew up in and the importance said society places on quantitative measurements of success, like money and grades in school and numbers of subscribers or video views. And then there's the social media platforms and how they operate. I am not in a place right now to change social media platforms and how they operate, and I cannot change the society I grew up in, but I can think about things differently. So basically, for one, I have been working to separate my self-worth from anything else. Like in this graphic, I show how I had my self-worth, and my strategy, so to speak, of getting it was in this case through success, which I got through my video views. But I have had other strategies for getting my self-worth met too. Success has been one of the things that I've connected my self-worth to over the years, but certainly not the only thing. I have hung my self-worth on lots of other things too, like how I look, like what other people think of me, like how productive I am in a day. And I have decided that when it comes to my self-worth, these strategies that I've been employing over the years, any and all of them, aren't working for me. Yeah, so basically what I've been trying to do is cut out the middleman, or in this case, the whole house of card structure that's holding it all up, cut it out. So for me, my strategy nowadays for self-worth looks like this. I have it. My self-worth is in my own hands now. At least that's what I'm trying for. That's what I'm working towards. And ideally, my self-worth would not be propped up by anything or anyone. It simply is. Yeah, that's my goal. I think for me, a pretty big aha moment that I had in my life was when I decided that my self-worth was not something that I wanted to have an outside strategy for, that it's something that is non-negotiable for me. I have self-worth, and I'm working really hard not to hang it or pin it or prop it up with anything else. Notice, however, that in what I just said, there was a lot of it's my goal and ideally and I'm trying, because given that I spent most of my life hanging my self-worth on this or that, it's definitely still a work in progress. I have also deleted the YouTube Studio app from my phone. Not the YouTube video app, the Studio app, which is where I can get live, detailed analytics right there on my phone. And I don't need that information right there on my phone. It's too tempting for me personally to randomly check all throughout the day. And even in the evening, for example, like if there's just a few seconds between dinner and doing whatever the next activity is, and there's that momentary lull in activity, so I find myself quickly grabbing my phone and checking YouTube analytics just to see what's going on. No, I don't need that. If I want to see what's going on with one of my videos, I'm going to at least make it so that I have to open up a computer and take a look there. at least for right now. Hopefully that will help me stop just like browsing my YouTube analytics just because I'm bored, or browsing analytics as a pastime. And I am also going into my YouTube videos with a different mindset of what I want out of YouTube, what I want out of my videos, and what's important to me. So my question for you is, what kinds of feelings or experiences have you had in regards to likes or views on social media? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what the birthday cake flavored ice cream is in my ice cream sundae analogy from the beginning of the video, it's you. It's you, the community, the viewers. You're my ice cream. Thank you. Thank you very much.